Well, welcome Rice fans, I'm Mark Cole and you join Motors TV at the 7th round of the Japanese Super GT Series, where Nissan's Mikael Krum comes as twin-ring Motegi as championship leader, despite the German and his British co-driver Richard Lyons yet to score a 2006 victory. 6 different winners have kept the title fight wide open with 3 races still to go. 3 wins to Lexus, 2 to Honda, and the latest, the Suzuka 6 Hours, to Nissan. But twin-ring Motegi has always been a Honda circuit. NSX is winning here the past 5 years. No surprise then that Honda's on pole. The 2005 winning Ray Brigg NSX of Francis Sebastian Philippe and Jan Shinya Hosokawa. Twin-ring Motegi, of course, owned by Honda, and it's about to celebrate 10 years of operation. Opened in 1997 with a combined IndyCar oval and a separate, very, very technical road course, 4.8 kilometers in length. The 2 tracks don't actually touch at any time, but they do share the grandstands and they do share the pit road in common. It's a World MotoGP Championship course as well, and other formula come here. Problems then for the Privé Zurich Scheiden, this car that had qualified in GT300 in 10th place is going to be starting from the pit lane. But as we said, the Ray Brigg NSX of Sebastian Philippe leading the field behind the safety car with Akiri Aida in the number 6 Mobile 1. Lexus SC430 behind him, then the open interface Tom's SC430 of Andre Lotter, another German, and then Britain's Peter Dumbreck starting 4th in the Bandai Direzza Lexus. In 5th place, the Takata Dome NSX of Ria Mishigami, and behind that the Zent Tsurumo SC of Toru Takagi. Qualifying in 7th place, Ralph Furman in the Arta NSX. That's the car that won in Sepang this year, the Norfolk driver, adding to his CV with some great results again this year. The flattest circuit in Japan, it's got 11 turns in effect. Some of those turns have 2 or 3 apexes, but very, very flat. The longest straight, 760 meters long, as they come down now through the S's and heading up towards the hairpin at the highest part of the circuit. It's a wide circuit. As we say, it's been designed really for IndyCar racing on the oval side. It means that spectators don't get a great view because they are so far back from the road circuit, as you can see there. But a 50,000 crowd here today. The capacity is 65,000, so they've really done well to fill it up. Round this hairpin then, turn 9, as Philippe leads the field down. Let's have a quick look at GT300, which is for the smaller class. GT500 is 500 horsepower, GT300 300 horsepower. And Haruki Kurosawa on pole position, the Vilcom VMAC, the 4.5 litre Mugen V8 powered car, which is designed in Japan but built in Essex. There's a number of those here. Then on second fastest, the Gym Centre Ferrari Dunlop F360, which Tetsuya Tanaka is starting. And behind that, Porsche Boxster, the total benefit Porsche Boxster of Hideshi Matsuda, with the Lamborghini Murcielago RG1 of Marco Apicella, but won first time out in Suzuka this year. That is starting in 4th fastest in GT300. As always, separate starts for GT500, GT300. As we look at the cars coming under the oval circuit, that's Victory Turn, the final turn, which is actually 2 left-hand corners and a very sharp right, which brings us back onto that start straight. So Philippe holding the field in check. No wins for him or Hosokawa this year. And the first pole for Ray Brigg, in fact, this year. And first pole, I think, also for Sebastian Philippe. So the lights are red. They go to green as Philippe holds them in check. And Philippe is who outdrags Aida, Lotterer, Dumbreck, Mishigami, Takagi, and then Ralph Furman in 7th place as they all go piling into turn 1 and 2, which is basically one big hairpin with 2 left apexes down the back straight, which takes them behind the paddock and the pits down to turn 3 and 4, another double apex, left hand this time. And that little Honda on its Bridgestone tyres getting its power down to the road very quickly. 3.5 litre V6 normally aspirated up against the chasing white Mobile 1 Lexus there. 4.5 litre V8 in that car, just as the other Lexuses are, and the 2 Toyotas in the race. Right at the back there at the moment, the Calsonic Impulse Z of Benoit Trullier and Kazuki Hoshino. Hoshino starting, that's a car that won the Suzuka 6 Hours just a couple of weeks ago. Problems already then in the GT300 class. We've got a Nissan off, we've got one of the Ferraris off. They've gone all over the road here, and the rescue truck ready to go and pull someone out of the gravel. The Ferrari rejoins. That's the TNG Cyber Agent Dunlop car of Hiromi Omoto. Let's have a look then at the GT300 leader, the Vilcom Advan car. That's the GT500 there we're looking at now. The Raybrigg car of Philippe still leading Aida and Lotterer and Dumbreck. No change there then amongst the top as they come up to complete lap 2. 6 has changed though. Ralph Furman's gone ahead of the Zensarumo car. That's for 6th. There's Ralph in that bright orange and white car ahead of the Zensarumo Lexus. That's the only change in the top 10 at the moment. Ralph just getting to grips again. As we said, it's a Honda circuit owned by Honda. They do all their testing here. Bridgestone working hand in hand with Honda. The only car that's not on, the only Honda that's not on Bridgestone tyres is the Epson NSX car run by Sato Nakajima. That runs on Dunlop. Here we are. Here is the GT300 battle with that Ferrari Boxster well up there. What a mixture of cars. You have 6 different makes of car there in the top 6 positions, from VMAC, Ferrari, Boxster, Lamborghini, Nissan, and would you believe that, Subaru Impreza, the car that's done such a good job this year, qualifying 6 this afternoon. Now this car, the Ford GT, the South African built Ford, of course, the reincarnation of the famous Ford GT40. Big problems for them. They qualified on pole position in GT300, but front aerodynamic irregularities got that car sent to the back of the grid as we rejoin Francis Sebastian Philippe leading the pack out of the hairpin. 3rd time going past one of the short circuit pits. There's 3 separate circuits here. Although unlike Silverstone, they can only run one at any one time. There's a problem then for the Durezza Z car that is running in GT300. That car started in 5th place. But he's crabbing. Has he got a puncture or has he got a suspension problem? Can't actually see a punctured tyre, but he's definitely got a problem. That car is steering from the rear end. There's our leaders in GT300 then, the VMAC, the Ferrari and the Boxster. Ferrari, incidentally, has not won a GT300 category race since Suzuka last year, and in fact only twice in the history of Super GT, Japanese GT, has a Ferrari won in GT300. The previous time was 2004, the season opening AIDA race. So the F360 is still very much a force to be reckoned with here in Japanese racing. The Murcielago, that beautiful RG1 of Marco Apicella, which surprised everyone with the Suzuka win this year. But look at the Ford GT40 already, Ford GT rather, already coming right up the order. He's now in the top 15, having started 26th on the GT300 grid. There it is, 14th now, and he's passing cars all the time. So he, at the moment, has made up the most places in this race. It's the only Ford GT in captivity. Ford were a bit low for even private customers to go racing them, but in Japan they throw that caution to the wind, thought we'll have a go at that, see what we can do, and this car already proving to be on the pace. 7 races into the 2006 series and potentially a winner. If they can keep this pace up, or certainly at future races. They're going to start from pole. Well, the 46 car of Kota Sasaki makes the pits. This is the Durezza Zeb. They're just changing front tyre, in fact. That's all they're doing. And then look at the front. They've changed the front tyre and then sending him out again. So I don't know what the problem was. I thought the rear end was steering there, but team has obviously decided it's a front end problem. He goes back out as the GT500 field comes through. Still no change in the top 6. Ralph Furman completing the top 6 just ahead of the Zendt car. But there's a problem still for that Durezza Nissan Z, the Fair Lady Z, 350Z as we call it in Europe. It's still got rear end steering. So whatever the problem was, it was not cured by changing a front wheel. Definitely a snaky problem. Well, the Ford GT making up more places now. It was in 14th. This, I guess, is for 13th. Come through under the bridge, underneath the oval. Great job being done by Hidetoshi Mitsusada. He's at the wheel of that car at the moment. He'll be handing over to Daisuke Aikida later on. And here he comes, another place coming up. He's catching up now with that Nomad car up ahead of him. And that will be for 12th place if he can pass him. So great showing. The director quite correctly picking up on the progress that this car's making. No sign of the Scheiden yet, unfortunately. The other similarly interesting car in the series, that's the car that's been built in Japan and named Scheiden after the Japanese for Violet Lightning, and a bit like the Mitsubishi is named after a famous Japanese wartime plane, the Kawanishi Scheiden Kai, for those of you who know your aircraft. That Scheiden, now we hear on the track, he's out of the pits now and he is on his way. It's powered by a 4.2 litre Toyota V8. But here's the battle that's raging out front in the GT 500s. Still Ralph Furman keeping Toru Takagi at bay, having passed him on the first lap. First, second, third, fourth, fifth and sixth, seventh and eighth, and right behind him in eighth place is, behind Furman, is Andre Couto in the AAA Saad Supra GT. Well, we're going to take a short break here on Motors. Stay with us for Super GT. Plenty of racing still ahead over the next hour and a half. Welcome back to Twin Ring Motegi, Japanese Super GT, round 7. Our leaders here, Sebastian Philippe of France in the Raybrigg NSX, and Akira Aida in the Mobil 1 Lexus SC40. Big fight going on here for 4th and 5th places at the moment. This is the Takata Dome NSX of Ryo Mishigami, climbing all over the back of Peter Dumbreck, and climbing all over him is Ralph Furman, who has got Andre Couto chasing him in 8th place. So good mix of cars here. Honda, Lexus, 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 Honda, Honda and Lexus. Nissan right out of it this afternoon. Nissan incidentally carrying a lot of extra weight. 110 kilos is the most for the Motul Nissan Z of Mikael Krum and Richard Lyons. Championship leaders, as we said, no wins yet, but they have had 3 podiums in the last 3 races since Richard rejoined the team, having gone back to Europe to try and seek his fortune. So 5 laps completed. The problem then for that Directive car, the one we saw with the rear end steering, he's in the garages now having a look at that, and he's obviously going to lose time. Car that started 5th in GT 300. Well, here's our race leader coming up behind some of the GT 300 back markers. And again, Mishigami climbing all over the back of Peter Dumbreck. Mishigami in the Bridgestone tired Takata Dome NSX. Dumbreck's Bandai Direzza Lexus is on Dunlop tyres. It's carrying 40 kilos of weight. The Takata car's on 30 kilos, but as we said, Honda own this circuit, set the cars up here. Oh, and there's Ralph Furman. He's lost position. What's happened there? He's lost place there. Ralph Furman has moved back and he's lost another place as well. That is Couto trying to go around the outside, but he gets it back. So Ralph Furman repassed by Toru Takagi. I think what we saw was him just running off the road in the S there in the background. And he's now fighting Couto off, but looks like he's found his pace again. Obviously got a lot of dirt on the tyres with the Norfolk driver heading into the victory corner. Picked up his momentum again, but he has lost that place back to Toru Takagi, the man he passed on the first lap. So Ralph Furman back into 7th. Here come the race leaders then. Raybury car's gone through. Big fight still going on between the Dumbrick Lexus and the Mishigami Honda NSX. There's Ralph Furman. And Kuto behind him. Masataka Yanagida in the Wudoni Nissan Z. As we said, a very, very hot afternoon here. 31 degrees and quite a lot of concern about tyres. How long are they going to last? Are people going to make early pit stops? We're assuming that the first stops will probably come around lap 25. It's a 53 lap race. They might make them a little bit earlier. 63 laps, I should say. They might make them a little bit earlier if they find the heats affecting the tyres. They can then judge what the tyre wear is like, how they will set their pace for the second part of the race. Expecting it to go to about 2 hours as Mishigami gets the run now on Peter Dumbrick. They're coming down the last stretch out of the hairpin. Mishigami's got the line. He's on the inside as they come down into the 90 degree. That's turn yes, and he takes position. That's 4th place he takes from Peter Dumbrick. So another change of position, and that's Naoki Hattori, Dumbrick's teammate, looking up at the screens there, seeing the pass. The NSX that 10 kilos lighter, perhaps that's making the difference. Maybe it's down to tyres. Bridgestone runners up ahead, 1, 2 and 3. Dumbrick on Dunlops. Any combination of these could give the edge to that green Honda NSX. So back to the present, and there are the positions. Raybury NSX, Mobile 1 Lexus, open interface Lexus, and the Takata NSX as we return to the GT300 fight. There's the Lamborghini now, the second of the 2 Lamborghinis. This is the Trike Japan one. This is Koji Yamanishi on board that car, and he's being monstered at the moment for 9th place by the Ford. So the Ford, having moved up into 10th now, climbing all over the back of this Lamborghini. 6-litre V12 Lamborghini up against the 3.5-litre V8 powered Ford. The Ford, of course, very much state-of-the-art car now. Lamborghini Murcielago beginning just perhaps to show its age. It's a 4 or 5 year old car compared with a brand new Ford there. Lamborghini, though, as you can see in straight line, still has the outright speed, and indeed the sister car, the Actio Murcielago of Marco Apicella, taking that win in Suzuka at the beginning of this year. Ford desperate, the Ford team, the DHG team, desperate to get that first win. I don't think it's going to be this afternoon, though. It was just too much of a penalty being sent from pole to the back of the 26-car GT300 grid. There's the endless Advan Nissan, car of Masami Kageyama. It's certainly a big story in the GT300 championship standings that the championship leaders lost their sponsor, lost their drive when Directive basically collapsed. It was a Japanese company set up to try and promote one of the new Formula One teams. They didn't get the contract, and Directive then pulled the plug on their GP2 involvement, also pulled their plug on the Super GT involvement, and left the championship leaders in their VMAC without their team. They have swapped, though, from Directive to another team. Well, this is one of the Porsches off. That's a 70 car. This car, one of the tail enders, Yoshimo Ishibashi. You can't invent a name like that. In the Advan Porsche GT3, gone off at the hairpin as this fight continues between the Murcielago and the Ford GT. So you're asking where our championship leaders, GT300 championship leaders, have ended up. having lost the directive drive. Shogo Mitsuyama and Nobutaro Kaniguchi, they have moved across to the R&D Advan VMAC team. So it's the same type of car, same team, same drivers, but new sponsor and new chassis for this weekend. There it is, in fact, just looking at it now. That Porsche still beached at the hairpin. As we look at the Scheiden being caught up now, the Violet Lightning car. And this again, the fight for GT300. Ferrari F360 really putting the pressure on now. Tetsuya Tanaka at the wheel. This car on Dunlops. The VMAC ahead of it on Yokohama tyres. Through the S, where Ralph Furman lost position to Toru Takagi a little earlier. Then up the back stretch into the hairpin, turn 9. So 22 of the 26 starters still running. That 23rd place rodeo car in the pits at the moment. All sorts of problems. 3 of them have gone off now. Ferrari again having a look down the back of the VMAC. Both cars powered by V8s, a 4.5 litre M-Tech, what was Mugen V8 in the back of the VMAC. 3.4 litre Ferrari V8 in the back of the Gym Centre Ferrari Dunlop. Gym Centre, incidentally, is the Tokyo-based international language school. And this car last year actually put an M-Tech engine in, the same as the VMAX got at the end of last season, try and get an improvement. I mean, fancy trying to change an engine on a Ferrari. It didn't work. And so they are back to the Ferrari 3.4 V8 this season. It's paying dividends this afternoon, isn't it? They're really on the pace here, running second in the GT300 class as the Raybrigg NSX continues to dominate GT500. Sebastian Philippe of France looking for a first win of the season from Pau. Best so far, a second place in Okayama. He's been in the points though in every race but one. And a win here this afternoon would certainly boost his chances of taking the title this year, although they've got a long way to go to catch up with Mikael Krum, who started this race on 64 points. Philippe is 41 points down in 10th place, he and Shinya Hosokawa. Back to the GT300 battle then, just 0.3 of a second between the two of them. 50,000 crowd in this beautiful autumn sunshine here around Motegi. Circuit, of course, still hosting IRL racing on the oval. And the Formula Nippon comes here as well. Formula Nippon, incidentally, headed at the moment by another Frenchman, Benoit Trullier, who won the Suzuka 6 hours a month ago with Kazuki Hoshino. Well, we're going to take another break. So stay with us on Motors TV. We'll be back at Twin Ring Motegi after these messages. Welcome back to Twin Ring Motegi. I'm Mark Cole. We're looking at round 7 of the Japanese Super GT Championship. 2 more rounds to go at the conclusion of this one. 9 races in the series this year. And we're at the moment looking at our leaders in GT300. This is the Wilcom VMAC of Haruki Kurosawa leading the Gym Centre Ferrari F360 of Tetsuya Tanaka. There is our overall race leader about to catch up the GT300 lead battle. The GT500 Raybrigg Honda NSX of Sebastian Philippe of France. And he has still got Akiri Aida shadowing him in the Mobile 1 SC. 53 laps in this race, and we're looking for first pit stops. We're told we'll probably be coming about lap 23 because of the heat here. Some of the teams want to get their cars in a little bit earlier, see if they need to make adjustments, compensate for tyre wear. Remember, they had to use the same tyres for super qualifying that they use the race, so they do tend to stop less than halfway into the race to get the most out of the tyres. And still Kurosawa doing a good job holding off the Ferrari, but how long for? That's going to be the question. They're being shadowed by the Green Tech Boxster of Madeshi Matsuda, and in fourth place Yasutaka Hinoi in the Actio Lamborghini Murcielago. A great battle going on here this afternoon for this category. Here comes our race leader overall though, Sebastian Philippe. He wants by. Lights are flashing, through he comes. Nice clean pass into turn one. And he really is pulling away now from Akira Aida in the Mobil 1 Lexus. There's that Lexus, the white car, in the middle of your picture now. And then behind him, Andre Lotterer in the open interface Tom's Lexus. Here in fourth place, the Takata Dome NSX of Ryo Mishigami. And in fifth place, Peter Dumbrek in the Bandai Lexus. Well, the Ferrari gets inside at last. This is coming into victory turns, turn 11. First time the Ferrari has actually managed to mount a challenge. Can't do it though. And for the moment, Haruki Kurosawa keeps that lead as they go through the S. Very, very technical this circuit. Those of you who've tried it on the PlayStation Gran Turismo 3 will know just how difficult it is to get a good time around here. Flat and featureless, a lot of hairpins, and where you can get some speed up, there's not really always traffic, as we're seeing right now. There's that Subaru Impreza. Oh, and here's a chance for the Ferrari now as they come down out of the hairpin. They've got to let other traffic by. That is Andre Lotterer going through. Now, can the Ferrari? No, he can't. He can't hook in behind that Lexus to try and get a tow down there into victory. Turn 11 under the oval circuit. And Tanaka's going to have to wait another lap, I think. Or perhaps just wait to catch a passing car. Passing GT500, get a toe off it and try and get by inside. Down they come, past the start-finish straight, and Ryo Mishigami goes around both of them in the Takata Dome NSX, and again the Ferrari cannot make the pass, although he's right up inside the BMAC. Great racing here from Twin Ring Motegi. There's the Ford making an attempt to get by the Lamborghini. It's been stuck there in 10th place for the last 4 or 5 laps. They've caught up in turn with the Advan Subaru Impreza. Both these cars are faster than that. Oh, and the Ferrari's gone through. Ferrari's gone through. Did we see what happened there? He took advantage of Peter Dumbrek passing. Hopefully we'll see that again. So change of leadership for GT300. Tetsuya Tanaka moves into the lead. Yes, here it goes. That's exactly what we presume might happen. Peter Dumbrek goes through and the Ferrari follows him, gets a toe off him, and there's nothing, absolutely nothing that Kurosawa can do. He was left out to dry there as he moved over to let the Lexus through, and the Ferrari just slipped inside. So good opportunism there by the Gym Center Ferrari. Through the victory corners as we ride again. The second place battle, that's the open interface car, the Mobil 1 car They've changed position, they've changed round. So Andre Lotterer has gone through ahead of Akira Aida, and Mishigami catching up as well. Is there a problem for that number 6 mobile car? He lost one place and looks in danger of losing another. Ralph Furman, there he is in the orange car, number 7th in the R2 NSX, then Andre Kuto, and then behind Kuto it's still Yanagida in the Wudoni Nissan Z. 14 laps of 63. Distance in this 2-hour sprint race. No endurance in the Super GT. It's all been sprint the last few years. These guys are pushing from start to finish. These are very, very quick cars. Space frame construction front and rear. You can do an awful amount to these cars. Manual 6-speed transmissions, steel brakes and power steering, but apart from that you can change the transmission, you can change the suspension. You're stuck with single caliper brakes, and you can't have ABS traction control, auto transmissions, telemetry or carbon brakes, but they are flat bottomed. You have front and rear space frames. You can hang on to the original cockpit. You can use composite materials for the bumper bonnet, boot and doors, front and rear wings, and also for any structural parts if they're there on the original car. 100-litre fuel tanks, and they weigh in at 1,100 kilos. Same for GT300. Although their weight is 1,000 kilos, a little bit lighter, but less power, of course. As we look at the second, third, and fourth place cars, as Sebastian Philippe in the Raybrigg NSX goes further and further ahead. So Lotterer, Aida and Dumbreck. Now that's changed as well. That's changed as well. The Takata Dome car of Mishigami having passed Dumbreck, of course. Dumbreck there in 5th, and the Zent Tsurumo SC of Toru Takagi, winner at Sugo. That car now up into 6th place. This is the battle our director's watching at the moment for 3rd place. Mishigami reeling in. Akira Aida. I don't know if Aida has a problem, but he's certainly slipping back a little bit. So there may be a brake problem. Very heavy on brakes this track, of course. You've got these just non-stop hairpins. Only really one straight part of the track of any distance, and that's the final straight out of the hairpin down to the 90-degree corner. Will they come out of victory over the start-finish line? And the Honda, which earlier deposed Peter Dumbreck, now looking to depose Akira Aida, who started from the front row of the grid. There's our race leader. This is the distance then now between the Raybrigg NSX and the open interface car in 2nd. 3rd place the Mobile 1 car. 4th place the Takata NSX. In 5th place the Zent SC, which I notice has gone ahead of Peter Dumbreck now. So Peter Dumbreck pushed back another place by Toru Takagi. Ralph Furman stays in 7th. Andre Kuto stays in 8th. That's the position from which he started. And back of the field there, the Calsonic Z carrying 80 kilos of weight. Benoit Trillier and Kazuko Hoshino, winners at Suzuka. That really has hurt them quite badly. Running 15th and last, although the Motul Ortec car of Mike Michael Krum and Richard Lans is carrying more weight, 110 kilos, but for some reason the Calsonic car just not able to get to grips with this circuit. Still looking at the 3rd place battle. The Honda with 3.5 litres of V6. car ahead of it, 4.5 litres of V8. And still that battle is raging between the Trike Japan Murcielago and the Ford GT. This is now for 6th place, both cars having moved up the field. The Lamborghini starting 11th and the Ford GT having started 26th after winning pole position, only to be sent to the back of the grid after post-qualifying scrutineering. Had front wing tab irregularities. Difficult though to judge exactly what those would be, as it's the only Ford GT in captivity. Well, Mishigami closer now to Aida than he has been at any time in this race. And Aida desperate to get past the GT300 cars. Mishigami being so careful he doesn't get the door slammed in his face. So easy to get taken out here. Always difficult to overtake at Twin Ring Motegi. Been hosting Super GT since 1998. Mishigami in fact won that first race when it was a single driver race in the Castrol NSX. Here he is now, 9 years later. Looking to try and repeat that win today. Around the hairpin then again. And still 3rd place stays with the Lexus of Aida. Well, another short break. We'll be back with you on Motors as we get towards the halfway point of this. Welcome back to Motors and our coverage of Super GT from Twin Ring Motegi. 300-kilometre race. We're just watching the battle for the moment between the GT300 contenders for 6th place. The Lamborghini Murcielago of the Trike team, that's Koji Yamanishi, and the DHG Ford GT, the spectacular, rather awesome Ford GT, which started from 26th position on the GT300 grid, having lost its pole position. And at the wheel of that car at the moment, the man I think probably has done the most to liven this race up, Hidetoshi Mitsusada. What a great race he's having with that 3.5 litre V8 engined Ford GT. The cars are of course built in South Africa. Here he comes down the hairpin, makes a big lunge, but he can't quite get inside. It's very, very close. And did he just touch the Lamborghini there? If he didn't, it was only just by a whisker that he missed him. So two of the most exotic cars in the Super GT series bashing it out here for 6th place at Twin Ring Motegi. 7th round of 9 this year, and the championship coming to a great climax as we've had no less than 6 different winners in the 6 races so far. Are we going to have a 7th different winner race this afternoon? At the moment, Sebastian Philippe, who's not won a race this year, is leading overall for the Raybrigg NSX team. He's leading the race from the open interface Tom's Lexus of Andre Lotter, and all the Lamborghinis off. Big mistake there by Yamanishi. Got a wheel off and a lot of smoke. I think he locked up, but look how much distance the Ford's gained over. Here we are, here it is again. I think Yamanishi just ran out of talent. He goes wide, he's left his braking too late, he locks up. Big cloud of smoke comes up as he hits the brakes. Watch this, there we go. That's a lock up, and he runs wide into the gravel and loses a lot of time, and the places are coming back on. Well, that was for 6th place. The Lamborghini seems to be all right. We've got another car off though. That looks like the number 10 Ferrari we just saw. There it is, indeed it is. That's the number 10 Ferrari that was running in 20th place. The TNG Cyber Agent F360 of Hiromi. Car that we saw earlier off at the hairpin. So the GT40 then now, must stop calling it GT40, the GT40 replica, which is in fact a Ford GT. Plenty of them around in England. Jeremy Clarkson, of course, of Top Gear, is one of the proud owners. Wasn't so proud when he first got it, but now a dedicated owner. A must-have car, probably of this decade. that car having pulled itself up from 26th to 6th place. The most improved car of this race so far. Pit stops coming up eventually, I guess, but no news from the pits yet when the first of the front runners are going to stop. We've said it before, it's a hot afternoon, 31 degrees, 43 degrees on the track despite the lack of sunshine. It shows just how hot it is at this interchange from summer to autumn here in this part of Japan. 50,000 spectators then enjoying Japan's top formula. This is ranked even above Formula Nippon, which is the Japanese equivalent of GP2. There's our race leader then, Sebastian Philippe, in that blue and silver Raybrigg NSX car. Raybrigg, manufacturers of brakes. This car run by Kunamino Takahashi's team. And there is our battle going on there. 61 VMAC of Maniguchi being passed by the Boxster. In fact, no, it wasn't it was the car that was leading earlier, the Wilcom Advan car, being passed already by the Gym Centre Ferrari Dunlop, and we understand that car may have a gearbox problem, so he has just lost second place to the Total Benefit Green Tech Boxster of Hideshi Matsuda. So the pole car dropping down into third in GT300. There's the GT300 leader. That's Haruki Kurosawa. And off goes our race leader, Sebastian Philippe. Well, that could have been a costly mistake. He had about a 10-second lead. He's just been off at the hairpin. Didn't see what happened, but has he got a brake problem? So our race leader, and there's the gap back to second place. That's Andre Lotterer in the open interface car. So he hasn't lost the lead, but his lead has been slashed from about 10 to 4 seconds, I guess, by that. We'll see as they go across the line. So Sebastian Philippe led off pole position, going off at the hairpin. Is this going to spell problems for them later in the race? Here comes, it is 4.5 seconds. That's the gap back to Lotterer, and then to Akira Aida in third place. Ryo Mishigami then having been dropped a little by Aida. There he is in that green car. There's the Mobil 1 car in the middle of your picture now. And the Zent SC, that's the car of Toru Takagi. Here he comes in fifth place. Sixth place, Peter Dumbreck. And in seventh place, Ralph Furman. 21 laps completed then. We're told some of the pit crews are getting equipment out now, so we're expecting some stops. Oh, there is a problem. Someone coming down the back stretch. That is the Lamborghini. That is Marco Apicella's car. Well, he's got a problem. That car was running in fourth place in SC300. This is the car, remember, that won in Suzuka at the beginning of the year. We don't know what that problem is yet, but Marco Apicella crawling around. Is he going to make the pits? Further back then, fight on between the Zanavi Z of Mikael Krum. He's moved up from 13th to 11th. And climbing all over the back of him is the Epson NSX of Hideki Muto. This is the car run by Satoru Nakajima. That car also really off the pace this weekend. Francis Luc Duval will take that over later. They're on Dunlop tyres. Might be a clue to the car's relative lack of performance against its Bridgestone-shod sisters. The other Honda NSX is only carrying 20 kilos of weight. Well, in comes, in fact, Peter Dumbreck handing over to Hattori. So this is lap 21, an early stop then for the Bandai car that was in 5th place. Perhaps the tyres had it. Peter Dumbrek deciding best thing to do is get some fresh tyres, hand over the car to Naoki Hattori as our race leader comes through past the Lamborghini, surviving Lamborghini of Yamanishi. Another car off on the outside. I think that was probably Marco Apicella pulling off. There's the Scheiden in the front of that little group of cars. There's our 2nd place car, Andre Lotterer. Yes, there is Apicella, as we saw. Well, Hinoi actually at the wheel. Yusataka Hinoi pulling off on the back of the circuit underneath the banked oval. And it looks like that car is going no further. He's been crawling around. We're going to get a safety car. Or is he far enough off the track they'll be able to pull him off? Blue flags, no yellows at the moment. Blue flags waving for our race leaders. Now 22 laps completed as in comes the car that started from pole in GT300. We normally expect the GT300 cars to go that little much further. The cars are less powerful, lighter, same fuel tanks as the GT500. So Haruki Kurosawa brings in that Wilcom car from 3rd place, handing over to Shinzuki Shibahara. As in many categories, no work while they're refueling, so they do the tyres first. Man with a fuel hose poised to start filling it. Fuel hose goes on the back. This is the number 6 car. That's the Mobil 1 SC 430 of Akira Aida being handed over to Tatsuya Kataoka. This is the car that's come in out of 3rd place. So 3rd and 5th place cars having stopped, changed drivers. Fuel's gone in. Rear tyres only. Happy with their tyres. Obviously, Bridgestones. Oh, we've got a problem here on the 23 car. That's the car of Richard Lyons and Mikael Krum. Krum's had a collision somewhere. We haven't seen where. Has he run into the back of someone? No, it's not the Lions car. It's a 23 car. It's a teammate car, the Zanabi car of Satoshi Motoyama, Sugio Matsuda. Lions, of course, in the Motul car this year, no longer the Zanabi car. They've run into someone somewhere on the track. Maybe we'll see a replay of that. 55 then getting a drive-through penalty. 55 car, that's the Ford GT. What's he got that for? Mitsusada still at the wheel of that car. We've had no yellow flags, well, none we've seen so far. Maybe he passed someone going past the Lamborghini. In he comes. He's going to take a drive-through penalty. We don't know why, but it's not going to help the cause of this car that had worked its way up from 26th to 6th place after losing its pole position. Through the pits goes the Ford. Can't stop, can't do any work. Still no news on why they got that penalty. Back out he goes. And he'll be back in a little later to hand that car over to Daisuke Akida. Now that's a shame. That's compromised a great run. In comes the Zent Tsurumo car. Toru Takagi, the man who not long ago passed Ralph Furman's car. Tyres, fuel, and the Zent car, which was bought in by Toru Takagi, taken back out by Yuji Tachikawa. Out he goes. The Calsonic car's in there. This is the car that's been running 15th in GT500. Kazuki Hoshino handing the car over to Benoit Trullier. What a difference a month makes. They won the Suzuka 6 hours, and Trullier leads the Formula Nippon Championship, but here they are running last today at Twin Ring Motegi, carrying 80 kilos of penalty success weight. There's oil on the track. People are being warned as they come down the hill into Victory Turn, and 23 now gets a warning. He's been dropping oil. That is the Matsuda car, so there's more damage than we suspected, perhaps a radiator damaged. Whatever it is, radiator or oil cooler, has been dropping fluids on the track. He's been given that flag telling him he's going to have to come in and get that seen to. Him, meanwhile, is the race leader still. Sebastian Philippe yet to make his first stop. He's just gone past the 23 Zanavi Nismo car. In comes Ralph Furman. Belts undone already, and Furman will hand over the Arta NXS to Daisuke Ito as Matsuda decides to continue with another lap, not coming into the pits. He's in danger of being black flagged if he ignores that black and orange flag that's been shown to him. Ralph Furman in the back of the garage there, taking off his yellow helmet. He's done his afternoon's work. Started from 7th car, currently in 6th place when he brought it in. Tires on the back only, the Honda trait, fuel in. Out he goes. And Ito will hope to rejoin back just ahead of the Zensarumo car. So 24 laps completed now here of the 63 which have to be run. Just coming up to halfway, people stopping early as we suspected. This man has not yet stopped. We'll take a break. Stay with us on Motors. Welcome back to Twin Ring Motegi, round 7 of the Super GT Series from Japan. Watching our race leader who still has to make his first pit stop. That is Sebastian Philippe on board the Raybrigg NSX, which he is sharing with Shinya Hosokawa. That's the car behind it over. Here's the second place car. The open interface Tom's Lexus SC430 of Andre Lotterer. He will be handing over to Juichi Wakisaka when they make their first stop. So early stops by some of the GT500 runners, as we saw from lap 21 onwards. This is lap 27 we're on now, and we're still waiting for our first and second cars to make the stop. In comes the 23 Nismo car, the Zanavi car of Sugio Matsuda, Satoshi Motoyama. Quite a lot of front-end damage. The car has been given a warning flag, so the team's going to have to attend to some fluid leak from the front. We presume an oil cooler or perhaps a radiator's been damaged in that. We didn't see what happened. The car obviously had a fairly hefty collision. Carbon fibre front end, and of course that creates problems for other traffic because there's shards of carbon fibre all over the track after that. So not a lot happening here, not a concern. The fueling's been done. They're going to have a look at that front, see what the damage is. They're surely going to take the front end off the car. And there at the moment is Ralph Furman's car and the Zensarumo car. Both these cars have made their stops. Yuji Tachikawa taking position away from the car that Ralph Furman had bought in. That car going back a place now. In goes the Zanavi Nismo car, pushed into the garage, and they'll be doing work on that car now for the next few laps, I guess. But here at the moment is the Zensarumo car. Tachikawa on board, and all the work that Ralph Furman had done, keeping that car in 7th place, now starting to show itself as a problem. Takata Dem NSX, Ryo Mishigami comes in, Takashi Koguru will be taking that car back out. This Honda team efficient as ever. Jump on the car. Team run by Toshio Suzuki. Team Honda Racing, one of 2 cars, the Arta NSX of Ralph Furman, the other car run by the same team. Again, rear tyres only after the fuel's gone in. It's a quick stop, 29.8 seconds. You need to get best part of 100 litres of fuel into these cars. Takashi Koguro rejoins in what should be about 5th place. We'll see as he completes the end of that first lap. So we're looking for our race leader at the moment. He has come out then. The two leaders, their positions unchanged, but the Bandai car that Peter Dumbreck handed over to Naoki Hattori, trying to get down inside the Takata Dome NSX. It's coming back there. There is the 3rd place, as was car in GT300. The Wilcom Advan VMAC. Currently running behind the Gym Centre Ferrari Dunlop and the Porsche Boxster. And again, Naoki Hattori on the attack in the Bandai car. This is for 10th at the moment. It's a virtual 10th because our race leaders, 1st and 2nd, have yet to stop. Others have yet to stop, and they will find themselves moving back up the order when that comes. Still very hot here. Sun appearing in parts of the circuit now as we look at this battle going on. V6 Honda against V8 Lexus Toyota. Lexus only finding its way into Japan really this year, although Lexus is built there as the upmarket Toyotas. It's not been a brand on sale in Japan until this year, and of course big in America. Lexus having been past Grand Am champions. Still, Kogure keeps that down. In comes the Advan. Nissan rejoins the battle. That's the Budoni car of Masata Yanagida, Seiji Ara. Now, this story behind that car, Eric Comas, who has been driving that car this season, he has decided to retire from the sport. He's had back problems, suffering from lumbago, problems in the small of the back, and he has handed over his drive to Seiji Ara. Ara, of course, joined Comas and Yanagida in the Suzuka 6 Hours, finished 5th in that race. So Comas dropping out of the championship after being in it for many years, twice champion, of course. That was the Ford GT. We just saw making it stop now, way down the order after having several problems during the race, including a drive-through penalty. We still don't know for what. This battle then goes on between the Takata Dome NSX and the Bandai Supra. And the Honda now, it's got its tyres heated up. Remember, changed rear tyres only. Seems to have now got the edge over the Bandai car. Quick spin there for, is that the Motul car? That is the car of Richard Lyons. And Mikael Krum, has that car made its pit stop yet? Or is it getting towards the end of its tyres? Just waiting to see. Out comes the Zanabi car. Satoshi Motoyama, Sugio Matsuda having had the front end rebuilt. In comes our race leader. Sebastian Philippe of France will hand over to Shinya Hosokawa of Japan. Raybrig NSX. Car run by Kunimitsu Takahashi. Started from pole position, has led throughout the race. Again, only rear tyres going to be changed on these Hondas. Fuel goes in, cannot touch the car till that's done. GT300 runners coming out. In also comes the 2nd place car. Andre Lotterer handing over to Juichi Wakisaka. This is lap 30. Halfway distance almost. Out they come. Oh, and look at that. They rejoin almost as they came in. If anything, though, I think perhaps the Tom's Lexus maybe just gaining a few seconds. Slightly quicker stop, but the status quo is resumed. First and second, a virtual first and second it will be when all the stops have been completed. So Shinya Hosokawa in the 100 car, Chichi Wakisaka in the number 36 car. And the gap between them about 4 seconds as they return to the track. Still a few cars to come in, but these are the important ones, first and second overall. And looking down to GT300, that Gym Centre Ferrari still heading the field. But moving up the order, we haven't seen it yet, is the endless Advan Nissan in GT300. Started in 15th and is currently running in 4th place behind the Wilcom Advan VMAC and the Total Benefit Boxster. There's the second of the Lamborghinis, the surviving one, the trike car. Hisashi Wada now at the wheel. So first and second, as it has been for much of this race. The Raybrigg car starting from pole, the open interface Tom's car starting third on the grid, quickly moved up into second once Akira Aida started having problems in the number 6 Mobile 1 Lexus car. Still running 4th at the moment, just ahead of the Zendt Tsurumo car. Seconds. Yes, as we suspected, that gap is opening up now. And the Raybrigg car, that's a car at the wheel, carving through, comes up behind the GT300 leader. That's the Jim Gaynor Ferrari. So that is our first in both categories. Here's second in GT500. 500 horsepower pushing out from the Toyota V8 underneath the Lexus C430 hood. 32 laps completed by our race leader. The virtual race leader, because this car at the moment has not yet stopped, the AAA Saad Supra. That's the car of Andre Couto we just saw. He's just going past the little Amamaya Aspara Drink RX-7. This is the little Mazda that my colleague David Leslie and I always tip as our car that we most like to see win. Won in Sepang this year. As in comes the number 11 car. This is the Ferrari that's leading in GT300. Tetsuya Tanaka hands over the car to Takayuki Aoki. Let's see what stop they can do. 28-29 seconds is good. Changing the ice in the driver's cool suit there. That goes in a box which is piped around suit and into the helmet of the drivers. Very, very hot, of course, in these cars. Fuel goes in. Waiting to change your tyres, and it's going to be quite a long stop, this. We were looking at something under 30 seconds, but even so, just checking everything's done. Fronts are on. It's going to be a 40-second stop by the time. No, there's something down there. They can't get the car fired, can't get it fired up. Been a heat build-up, I guess, in there. Oh, this is costing them time. 50 seconds. There's a problem for our GT300 leader. Mechanic goes in, fiddles around with the switches, the black box, gets him running, and out he goes back into the fray. But where is he going to rejoin? Does that cost him the lead, or? Are they going to get it back? In comes Andre Couto, our virtual leader, so that means we're probably looking problems here then for Keijo Saga in one of the Kumo Celikas. This is a car that was running way down the order. The Taiyo Oil Kumho Celica, the only car on Kumho tires in the race. This is the car that won GT300 in the Suzuka 6 hours, so that's not what they wanted. Kuto's teammate then rejoins the fray. This is Katsuyuki Hironaka. So we're back to the status quo now. In real terms, the Raybrigg car leading this car, the open interface Lexus. This car fastest on the track at the moment, putting in 149s against the 150s of our race leader. But every time he gets anywhere close, Hosokawa can just open up again and pull away. Well, having said he's doing 50s, he's just done a 49. So Hosokawa has sped up a little bit. Although at the moment is our GT300 leader, the little Boxster there. It doesn't look much like a Boxster, does it? But it is underneath all that skin. Doesn't think it's a Cayman, does it? Well, this car still has to make its one and only pit stop. Hideshi Matsuda will hand over to Ichicho Suga when he eventually gets the call to come in. Well over half distance now. 160 kilometers of the 300 completed. There's a drive-through penalty then for number 12. We're told it's for speeding in the pit lane, and that is Benoit Trullier when he went out after his pit stop in the Calsonic car. So the Suzuki winners, Suzuki 6 hours winners, from heroes to zero. Here he comes, takes the penalty. Frenchman Trullier goes through the pits at the regulatory 80 kilometers an hour. Back out. That'll drop them further down the order. In comes the Sharken VMAC, number 5 car, which at the moment is running fairly long way down the order. So no change up front. 35 laps now completed of the 63. After the flurry of pit stops spread out over a 14-lap period, quite unusual for the Super GT series, where they tend to all come in within 2 or 3 laps of each other. Now settle down into the second half of the race. But as always, these cars fairly problem-free. In comes our GT300 leader. He's going to lose that lead back to the Gym Centre Ferrari Dunlop if he can do better. Locks up as he comes in, knocks over the board. Does just climb on the front of the car to refuel it. Never mind the fact this is expensive high-tech material. Getting ready to change the fronts, having done the backs. Down at the hairpin, the Jim Gaynor Ferrari goes the long way round. Boxster goes out again. Matsuda handing over to Ichicho Suga, and he should rejoin in 4th or 5th place. Comes the whole gaggle. There's a quicker stop than the Ferrari. In fact, he has taken the lead. There is the number 11 Ferrari of Tanaka and Aoki. That failure to start has cost them. So here's our leader, the Boxster, in the lead from the Ferrari. That's the virtual lead. Not everyone in the category has yet made their stop. The 13 car there, the Endless Advan Nissan, we mentioned earlier, making a good move up the order. Masami Kageyama and Tomonobu Fuji showing that car that started down in 15th place. Kageyama started it, so Fuji will be finishing it. Our race leader, though, completely untroubled, Shinya Hosokawa. Great afternoon for Honda here on their home track. They have won the last 5 years here, and it doesn't look like it's going to be any different this afternoon. The only people who have not won here, no time Honda hasn't won here, goes back to 2000 when the Skyline GTR of Wakisaka and Matsuda won here in 2000. Wakisaka, of course, running second at the moment. We're looking at the virtual leader then in GT300 at the moment, the R&D VMAC. That car shared by Nobuteru Kaniguchi and Shogo Mitsuyama. We're going to take a break. Stay with us on Motors. Back in a moment. Problems then for the car that Ralph Furman started in this race here at Twin Ring Motegi. Daisuke Ito walks away from the Arta NSX Honda. We hear a wheel nuts come off, the wheel with it, and that car's race is over. The car that won in Sepang will not be scoring any points here today. This car will, though. The Takata Dome NSX of Takashi Kogure, started by Ryo Mishigami, running in 5th place at the moment. Through the S pretty violently, kicking the wheels up over the curbs. 4th he is now, Kogure. Been locked in a big battle all afternoon with the Zentsurumo Lexus of Yuji Tachikawa. Here in 3rd place, Aida having handed over the Mobil 1 Lexus to Tatsuya Kataoka. And the gap between those two at the moment, something like 2 seconds as they come down the back straight. getting caught up behind the little Amamaya Aspara Drink Mazda, which is in 4th place. So solid runs for all these cars. Reliability really has been a strong point until that problem for the Arta Honda. But a loose wheel nut. Not a lot you can do about that. Perhaps problem in the pit stop. Who knows? The traffic always a problem here at Motegi. Overtaking chances not that great, and then traffic adds to the problems. This car's starting to go faster and faster now. 48's the Raybrigg car is doing now, with Hosokawa on board. And we're hearing also from the Tom's Toyota Lexus pits that Juichi Wakisaka in the 2nd place car is having some gearbox problems. That's why it's starting to drop back a little bit. We normally see Wakisaka making a big charge in the closing stages of these races. Not today though. There we are. It's got the whole length of that back stretch now between them, coming out of the hairpin and down into that final turn victory. Goes past one of the Ferraris. So Jim Center Ferrari at the moment running 2nd in the class behind the Boxster. A long pit stop costing that car enough time to lose him the lead once all the pit stops have been made. 500 horsepower out of the Honda. NSX, of course, no longer produced, so everyone's waiting to see what Honda will do. There's no moratorium on when you can or cannot race these cars. No reason Honda shouldn't continue racing it. The only thing, of course, it's not a car they're marketing as a road car now, so presumably they will be looking in the future at producing something else to replace the NSX. Been a great car on its day. The road version's particularly sought after. It's the never a poor man's Ferrari because it's still an expensive car, but for Honda particularly. Well, that was the Raybrigg car leading. Here comes the 2nd place car, flashing to come past one of the GT300 Nissans. Wakisaka is falling back a little bit, as we said. Gear shift problem in that car. Something's tightened up. Obviously not a sequential problem, because if you do have a gear problem with a sequential box, you cannot jump gears like you can on a manual box. Bits of rubber falling off the cars there. There is our top 6 at the moment. Honda, Lexus, Lexus, Honda, Lexus, and not a Nissan in sight. The Bandai car in 6th. So Nissan, again, the big losers this weekend. Only one win this year for Nissan. That was a last time out in the Suzuka 6 Hours, which for the first time this year became part of the Super GT Championship. Well, we are seeing that the Jim Center Ferrari has gone back into the lead, which means the Boxster's disappeared. Where is it? We haven't seen the Boxster. The endless Nissan Z has come up into 2nd place, and the Wilcom Advan VMAC has gone up into 3rd. So where is the Boxster? Car emerged from its pit stop in the lead. So this is one of the biggest improvements in the race. Kageyama handing that car over to Tomonobu Fuji. Started 15th, now up into 2nd place. And that's the gap between 1st and 2nd at the moment. Increasing all the time. Running regular 59s against the 48s of the GT500s. There's the third place car, now in the hands of Shinsuke Shibahara. Over the line he comes. This VMAC, powered by a 4.5 Mugen V8, Motegi V8, what was the Formula 1 engine basically in the old days. Also used in the Dome sports cars. This car had its win at Fuji at the beginning of the year, with Shibahara on board. The other driver there was Hiroki Yagi, who stayed with the team until they had that win at Fuji and then disappeared from the scene. We presume the money ran out, something like that. Haruki Kurosawa joining the team, bringing Yokohama money with him, and the season's not been quite so sparkling since, but they did start from pole today and they're running a strong third at the moment. This team also looking for its first win of the season, started from its first pole, as we heard at the beginning of the programme. 51 laps completed then. Crowd up on the hillside there, 50,000 of them, but it takes a lot to fill this place. When they built it, they had in mind 200,000 spectators coming to watch the IndyCar races here. Of course, it's never got anywhere near that. It's a very difficult place to get to. Motegi is a fairly provincial little town here in Japan, and only 2 circuit entrances, both off fairly minor roads, difficult to get in and out of, so you have to make it a fairly long-term thing if you're planning a trip here. Fuji, which is out in the Hakone National Park under Mount Fuji, is a far easier place to get to, being just off one of the major motorways heading out of Tokyo. So Sebastian Philippe, Shinya Hosokawa looking good this afternoon. In the 7th round of the series, if they can keep that, they will be the 7th winners in the 7 races, and that's exactly what you want from any championship, just complete openness. So the series goes down to the last race. The last race, in the case of Super GT, will be the Fuji 300 kilometers in November. Of course, Motors TV will be covering that. Before that, in the middle of October, the Autopolis 300 kilometers. So the Raybrigg team watching from the pit wall. 100 car, absolutely faultless race so far today. Can't ask for more than that. The man we saw sitting there watching what's going on, Kunimitsu Takahashi. Of course, he was the man who became the first Japanese to reach the pinnacle of motorcycle GP racing. Philippe's won 3 races in the 6 years of the NSX, and last year bought this team its first victory in 6 years of racing. His partner Shinya Hosokawa, who's a rookie, has moved up into GT 500 from GT 300, where he scored 2 wins last year of the NSX. In comes the Scheiden, like the Ford GT and the Lamborghini, one of the more interesting cars in the race. Scheiden is built here in Japan, but unfortunately it looks like its race this afternoon is going to be over. Built by Mooncraft, a long-time Japanese motorsport constructor. They won the Fuji Grand Championship in 1977, designed by Takuya Ura, and the company's based at Gotemba. We're back with Motors TV, our continuing coverage of round 7 of the Super GT series. I'm Mark Cole, and we're looking at the moment at the car which is running Zent Tsurumo running in 3rd place. Yuji Tachikawa at the wheel ahead with Takagi having put the car there. Long afternoon, 40 seconds behind our race leader, the Raybrigg NSX at the moment. Right behind him are our 4th and 5th place cars, the Mobile 1 SC and the Takata Dome NSX. Just 5 laps left now in this 300 kilometer enduro. We've jumped ahead some 20 laps. No change in the top 6 order during that time. So here's our race leader, Shinya Hosokawa, in the number 100 Raybrigg NSX. In 2nd place at the moment, Juji Wakisaka in the open interface Tom's Lexus SC430, the car he shares with German Andre Lotterer. And in 3rd place, the Zenitsurumo SC, the car we just saw, Yuji Tachikawa, having taken that over from Tora Takagi, a man well known to Champ Car fans and of course to Formula One fans going back into the 90s. So a fault this afternoon for this car, the Raybrigg car, run by Kunimitsu Takahashi, a man who came out of motorcycle GP racing. Car is run from Gotemba near Fuji circuit, carrying just 10 kilos of weight. It's probably the lightest Honda here this afternoon, running on Bridgestone tyres, 500 horsepower from its 3.5 litre V6 normally aspirated engine. There is the gap now, back to 2nd place. There he is, just coming out of turn 7. Wakisaka at the wheel, man who won here in 2000, driving the Zexel Nissan Skyline GTR. So good afternoon for Wakisaka and Andre Lotterer. As they're doing that, already looking at the championship standings to see where they would come out. There's our 3rd and 4th place battle. So the race winding down. There's our race leader in GT300, Takayuki Aoki. This will be a great afternoon for Ferrari as well. Ferrari F360, not the 430 that we're used to seeing in Europe now, but these cars are fairly heavily modified. You might have heard us earlier talking about the fact they actually put a Mugen V8 in that car last year. It didn't work, they've gone back to being a Ferrari. 2nd car behind it was the endless Nissan, and the 3rd car we just saw there flash on, the Vilcom VMAC. Here is that VMAC passing a Porsche back marker. So 22 seconds the gap from 1st to 2nd, 30 seconds from 1st to 3rd. There's the Ford GT, still running strongly, but hampered by drive-through penalties, other things. It is though in 5th place, just behind the Amamea Aspara Drink RX-7, and for that 5th place it's going to have to get the award for the most improved car in the race, having started from 26th position on the grid. That's beaten even the endless Advan Nissan, which is 3 places ahead of it, which started 15th and is now 2nd. So good afternoon for the Ford. It's really coming together. It's been a very, very long road this. It's a big program for them, for DHG. It's imported by DHG, and they sell the cars in Japan as road cars. But Tom's Formula 1 engineer, Hiroki Teramoto, came back to get this car sorted out with Hideyoshi Mitsusada. He's been working with GT500 teams, and they're very, very pleased with the progress of that car so far this year. This is battle for position. The Woodoni Advan Kondo Z. It's now up into 6th place, just having gone past the Bandai car, so it's just taken position away from Naoki Hattori. He and Peter Dumbreck now dropping back to 7th in that car. They have been having problems though, struggling a little bit on tyres, we hear. This Woodoni car, the car that Eric Comas has handed over his drive to Seiji Ara, the Le Mans 24 Hours winner for Audi. He's showing the car of Masataka Yanagida, with whom Comas has been campaigning this year. Eric, as we said, having back problems, lumbago basically, and has decided to call today and concentrate on management. Incidentally, Eric's son Anthony, look out for that name, Anthony Comas, he's going to be racing in Formula BMW in Britain next year, so watch that name. Another son of a famous father trying to make his mark in racing. Well, as the laps wind down, just 2 to go, and Hosokawa pushing as hard as ever. The best lap of this car was a 1:47.5. Well, he's running 49s at the moment, even though he's got that 15-16 second lead at the moment, so not giving up for a moment. There is Sebastian Philippe, looking extremely pleased with their progress, but of course also very nerve-wracking, counting down these last 2 laps. This is the time you start hearing noises when you're at the wheel of the car, and things are going to go wrong. It hasn't been the best of races, has it? Sun comes out though on lap 61 of 63, just to shine on the Raybrigg Honda. It's been a little bit processional this race, very little change from the start. First and second cars starting in first and third places. It's going to be a good afternoon for Ferrari as well in GT300, as Shinya Hosokawa goes into his final lap. Sebastian Philippe still watching from the pits. There's a position change coming up. Yep, the Mobile 1 SC car goes through. Just gone past the Takata Dome. That's a change for 4th place. So Kataoka goes past Takashi Kogura. Swapping places the last 5 or 6 laps, those 2 cars. So at the moment we're looking at Honda, Lexus, Honda and Nissan, our top 6. But the 100 car only has a half lap to do now. It's going to take a famous win. There it is behind the Ferrari, which is going to take an equally famous win. Only the 3rd win ever for a Ferrari in the history of the Japanese GT and Super GT championships. The Raybrigg car 17 seconds now ahead of the open interface Lexus, and the Ferrari of Tanaka and Naoki is 23 seconds ahead of the endless Advan Nissan. So quite big victory margins for both classes this afternoon as the 300 kilometers comes to an end around this 4.8 kilometer twin ring Motegi track. Round 7 of the Super GT series. 2 to go after this. Autopolis, and then Fuji, and the bright autumn sunshine. Shinya Hosokawa, Sebastian Philippe take the win, their first of the season. Shinya Hosokawa's first ever GT500 win after his 2 GT300 wins last year. He'll be delighted. So will this man on board the Ferrari. Tetsuya Tanaka and Takayuki Aoki are about to become GT300 winners. They just won, in fact, because they were just behind this car. And Nissan taking second in GT300, and the Vilcom VMAC, which started from pole in GT300, takes 3rd place. Still some so good afternoon. As the results propel Philippe and Hosokawa to the top of the drivers' ranking, tied with Juichi Wakisaka and Andre Lotterer. So 3 points behind, and a tie for 3rd are Tachikawa and Takagi, and also Mikael Krum, who started this race as the points leader, now drops to 3rd. He finished 10th in this race. No points though for Ito and Furman after losing that wheel nut, and that drops them down to 5th place in the rankings. And similarly in GT300, Mitsuyama and Taniguchi, who finished 6th in this race in their Advan VMAC, having lost their directive sponsorship, they stay on top of the GT300 Championship. That's the end of it. This has been Mark Cole. Make sure you see further Super GT here with Motors. Been great having you with us. Sayonara.